We are all excitedly gathered here to inaugurate the IVSA WIPNet Science Club. Hope all of you are just as excited as me as we set forth on a new journey together. If you all agree and please say so in the chat box. This club has started due to the efforts of our immediate past president, that is Dr. Lalita Dhareshwar, ma'am. She is a very experienced laser scientist, retired from BARC. Now let's hear from her what her thoughts were behind starting this club. Lalita ma'am, please.
Yes, thank you, Suparna. I am indeed very, very happy to invite all of you. We are 54 of us, all the children who are excited to know more about this science club, and the teachers as well, and IVSA members too. It is my privilege to kind of cut the ribbon, I can say today, for starting this IVSA WIPNet Science Club. Actually, just to give you a brief behind the scenes, it was a mere coincidence that, I saw Dr. Arvind Ranade in one of the webinars, I think exactly 1 year ago. And when I heard him speak, I was so much, excited about the work that they are doing at Vigyan Prasar. I immediately on the chat box, I wrote to him that I am so and so. And at that time, I was the president of Indian Women Scientists Association. And we also are in the aligned with the same kind of mandate. So can we collaborate and work together? And within minutes, I got his reply saying, yes, I'm very happy to know about this, though I had never heard about Indian Women Scientists Association earlier. So, and then the whole journey started that we started working together, and we started Vigyan Prasar, other projects, that is our Each One Teach One project, and for nurturing science. And then we started the Learning Garden project, then Shikshan Setu. And this IVSA WIPNet Science Club is going to be inaugurated today. Our club membership number is, we belong to the Maharashtra clubs MH0248. And maybe I can have a next slide, Suparna, just to give you an introduction as to what is this WIPNet. It stands for Vigyan Prasar Network, a network to weave all science clubs, societies, organizations that are already established or are going to be established and are willing to work with Vigyan Prasar to strengthen the popular science movement in country with far-reaching implications for development of society. And this is what is our mandate too at IVSA, taking science to masses and bringing a scientific temper in the society. Next slide. So, there is quite a lot which is written as to what the WIPNet Club does, what is its ideology. It is it's non-political, it doesn't discriminate based on caste, creed, ideology, religion, language, and it is only those who love science and who want to live by science and who want to find out about science that we all come together and learn together. There are many more science clubs which are formed fresh and because of local initiatives. And as you see, ours is 248. So already there are 248. There are totally over India, all over India, there are more than 1,000 clubs. And Dr. Arvind Ranade today, who is here, he is heading this movement of science WIPNet clubs. And we are just waiting to hear from him actually what lies behind, what are the things that we could do, and some kind of advice, and he would be throwing light on our future endeavors also. So next slide, please. So this is again, it aims to establish a vast countrywide network of science clubs, and broadly the objectives are given in 3 groups. Mainly it is dissemination of information in science technology, which is a very essential tool. And because of this, we are able to, today, the scientific temper in society has really increased because of which we are seeing so many young entrepreneurs in our society who are trying to solve our everyday problems with the help of science and technology. And evolution of holistic approach towards problems through awareness, so that we can come out of all the superstitious backgrounds riddling our society, for past several centuries. How to come out of this is with the help of science. So that is also one of the main things. And stimulation of the spirit of curiosity, inquiry, innovation, and creativity through activities that we will be doing. So all of you, my dear children who are here today as members of this club, you will not be even, free, in the sense that you will be always having some activities or another in the whole month, and you will really enjoy all the activities. We are trying to bring to you the best brains behind this, how they can teach you various things online, and when the situation improves, on the site also. Next slide. So all these are the actually the what is the the rules for the WIPNet clubs. And I think we have already sent all of you, the members, the brochure in which all these are very explicitly given, that there is a single coordinator who takes care of the activities of the WIPNet club. Ours is a IVSA WIPNet club, and I am the coordinator for this club. And under this, now we have about 45 to 50, or more than that, 50, maybe 50 members. And we will be soon getting more members also from some other schools also. Next slide. So what is the role, why we should affiliate? See, it is only that we know there are many resource materials that Vigyan Prasar publishes, like the Dream 2047 and WIPNet News. All these resource materials will be available to the clubs, so that you will come to know what is happening in the rest of the country. And when you join hands with other similar clubs which also share your dream, then you can reach much higher heights, and you can also do really wonders. So this is the main reason why. And we also will be able to take part in the National Children's Science Congress. All of you children, be prepared for the next National Children's Science Congress, NCSC. And then we are eligible also for many awards, prizes based on our yearly performance. So there are, the WIPNet clubs are divided in categories like, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. And our main aim is to reach up to the platinum level. Now, right now, we are just a white club. As soon as we join, and we will become, gold or maybe platinum in very short time. And we will also get international exposure through this. So that is also a great thing, So next slide, please, Suparna. Okay, so I think that's all I have to tell you. With this, I will end my, introduction. And today we are going to embark on a very exciting journey together. So we as IVSA mentors, school teachers, school children, and the citizens also who are interested in science will join us, and we will walk together this beautiful path of the science leading to a developed society and a developed nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lalita.
Now I am stop sharing. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lalita ma'am. Thank you, Mansidi. That was really exciting. Now we are going on a journey with another scientist who worked in genomics in BRC. She is the present president of IVSA. She is Dr. Rita Mukhopadhyay. She will tell us how science need not be confined to the labs, which is one of the aims behind starting IVSA 49 years ago. So Rita ma'am, please.
Yeah, good morning to everyone. And thank you very much. And a very, very hearty congratulations to the team Lalita madam has spearheaded, and all the teachers and the students, Mr. Ranade. Welcome to IVSA, and a very hearty congratulations to begin this journey. It is, as Suparna was saying in the chat, that she's as excited as the children. So we too we may have superannuated from our professions, but we are with you in this mission and this excitement. So with that, I will quickly want to introduce the institution which we stand by, and we are very proud to be life members. Here is the picture of our Indian Women Scientists Association's headquarters, and the building which you see is the very first, which stood on the Navi Mumbai grounds in the 1970s, is our Working Women's Hostel. And on the left is our garden, which I will speak about very quickly to you about. Next slide. How did we reach to our 49 years of just this journey? We were guided by our founder members. The next slide, Suparna.
Not moving.
Okay, I continue to speak. If it comes up, no problem, because there is a excitement to listen to the next program which will follow. So institution was formed by 12 eminent scientists of their time who founded this institution and who were futuristic in their thoughts to know that there will be a need where women scientists should come together to be able to work together, to be able to take the sciences to the society by walking shoulder to shoulder in all the aspects of science and technology, be it engineering, be it the medical fields, be it the law, be it the education. So all of us members constitute this intellectual body of all the sciences and the arts and the ecology and the ecosystem. So we are guided by our board of trustees, and I had a picture of them on the slide. But let me quickly go over to the excitement of interacting with all of you children. We have been doing a lot of activities with science awareness, science education. As Lalita Madam told you all, we have already been participating in competitions, science day celebrations, and this venture into the VP network of 248 clubs excited equally like all of you here and the rest of the country. We will be embarking upon new horizons of new competitions, new Olympiads, international exposure, and it's going to be a lovely interactive session. So here you get to see a glimpse of the COVID compliance, which has been going on for the past 18 months, while our Working Women's Hostel is still operational with a few hostelites at the moment. And on any given good time post-pandemic, we hope to see that all our 130 available beds are occupied by the hostelites, so that we could help the working women who come into the city and then embark upon their own career journeys. Next one. I have already spoken about, but these were the science education initiatives. And as you can see, we have laboratories, we have a library, we nurture the initiative of thoughts which begins in the children's mind and it gets the wind from the minds of our scientists. We go to the society through our scientific lectures, science camps, and exhibitions. The next one will show you how a beautiful garden, which was already there, we have regrown it in our second phase into a heaven, wherein the biodiversity is speaking for itself. And here is a glimpse of this colorful welcome which you get in all seasons, to see the butterflies this season or to see the birds who nest around our trees, and you see the flowers and different sensory feelings and different science-based, chemistry-based learnings are being offered through our learning garden-based programs. And definitely it will be utilized in your VPNet as well. Next one. So our journey is on. We have initiated few new programs from the past year, and VPNet was one of them, which today we are inaugurating. And here is a glimpse of what all has happened in the immediate past. We have also begun internship programs with college and universities. And with this, we are taking our scientific endeavors to society through communicating and interaction with each other. Next slide. Yes, and what are the ways we also communicate besides the lecture, besides the workshops, besides the direct interaction, comes in our newsletter. 4 issues per month from now onwards. We have a very able group of editorial board who publishes all the activities, and this is available by soft copy on our IWSA website, which is iwsa.net. I should end here to let the forum continue and the children get fulfilled with their knowledge feed as of this Saturday morning, but with a welcome note and a congratulatory note. May the success prevail and may the flag of IWSA with BPNet fly high. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita ma'am. Now, let's call upon another eminent scientist, Dr. Arvind C. Ranade. He will tell us about Vigyan Prasar network of science clubs, which is VIPNet in short. He is the national coordinator of VIPNet. He obtained his PhD from Pune University in astronomical spectroscopy, and his alma mater is Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics, more famous as IUCA in short. So, sir, can you please tell us about VIPNet?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. The chief guest of the function, Ms. Jyoti ma'am, the Indian Women Scientist Association's president, Dr. Rita Mukhopadhyay, the very immediate past president and the coordinator of IWSA VIPNet Science Club, Dr. Lalita Dhareshwar ma'am, and of course, all the office bearers of ISWA who has joined this inaugural function, and all the club members who are going to have, I can promise you, a very infotainment, full of infotainment journey that you are going to have in days to come. I first of all congratulate to the Indian Women Science Association for starting a new initiative under the banner of ISWA VIPNet Science Club. In fact, as Lalita ma'am said, it is really fortunate for Vigyan Prasar to know about IWSA in many ways. Number one, when I looked at the foundation of IWSA and the kind of work that all the senior members and the office bearers of IWSA have taken in the last, I would say, more than 25 years of your existence, it was really remarkable. And I think in every part of the science has been touched, not only just for the say of touching the subject, but there is a really enormous kind of a contribution, whether it is an establishment of a science park, having a hostel facility, having a variety of programs through which the youngsters get a value addition in their scientific knowledge. And when I really feel more thrilled to understand that the most, I would say, the busiest community on the earth, and I respect all the women, because women plays every different role that we could imagine, right from leading the home in the form of a mother, wife, sister, every relation that you maintain. And in addition to that, the great contribution that you are in a position to make everybody understand. This is really marvelous, and I respect all and every woman of the globe for such a great work that you are carrying, and this is a real inspiration. And dear children, I can only tell you that if you have got such a wonderful people and such a experienced one, why I say experience, because women goes through each and every different role in the life, and when it comes to the field of science, more than what they could do in the family, they have shown by their joining the various institutions in the various capacity. And it is a great honor for Vigyan Prasar to have USA as one of our extended arms of Vigyan Prasar, through which we are taking the message of science to the people. To be frankly speaking, Dr. Lalita ma'am has made my journey very easy, because she has very beautifully explained what are the things that you are going to get in your plate as you have joined a nationwide network of science club. Now it is the responsibility of us in a Vigyan Prasar to stand on the words that we have been mentioning in our public domain, and try to make you realize what we say is what we are. I can promise that in days to come, it's not only the USA will be part of the various programs across the country, but the kind of work that USA has been taken up in the last so many years, I could see USA is going to play a very significant role, not only as an organizer, but to be a contributor right from the field of variety of the sciences, whether it is life science, whether it is a physical science, chemical science, or a life science. And this is going to be a really exciting journey. And when today's chief guest, who is going to talk on the very, very important topic of 50 effective and innovative techniques for teaching science. So it's basically a science festa, which is going to make all of us really, really, I would say, the eye-opening information. And I'm pretty sure that in days to come, this USA platform, especially the members from the nearby location in Mumbai, and of course, in a larger context of Maharashtra, this club is going to come up as one of the leading club. And of course, it's a mutual gain, because Vigyan Prasar, being a national organization, we have a very limited scope, especially in terms of manpower, in terms of human resources, as well as the variety of the content development is concerned. And the association with USA is going to enrich the knowledge domain, and of course the collaborative spirit in a larger extent. So I really wish that the journey which has started under the banner of USA VIPNet Club is going to be more of enjoyment and infotainment, which has an information and knowledge together. So all the children, I can tell you that you should feel really privileged to be part of such a very, very active, innovative club of the country. And as Lalita ma'am said, yes, every club whosoever joins will join in the white category, but there is an enormous scope by doing the work and communicating the work to the Vigyan Prasar. Will have a variety of pedestals to up, right from the bronze to the platinum. And I'm pretty sure in a very quick time, the USA will reach to the highest of the category recognition by Vigyan Prasar. And I really wish that all the members who is full of knowledge, experience, and I could see that the kind of the team which is lead by the present President Dr. Rita ma'am, you all are such an excited kind of a people. After your regular journey in the government officials, you have shown your interest. You are well connected with the society, and that's where you are in the USA. And not only in that, you are also taking the knowledge of science to the people of the country, and that is what is a great service, I could say, to the nation. And I look forward to have many, many occasions in days to come where we will have many, many programs together. And given the chance, I will certainly would like to visit anytime when I will be around Mumbai in any future time if I visit Mumbai. And of course, all the dear children, I can tell you that Vigyan Prasar is bound to give as many platforms and opportunities for your better career and knowledge. And at the end, I can only say, let's make our country full of informed citizens who can take their decisions based on the knowledge that they get from the variety of the people across the country. So I really thank to IWSA, all officials, of course, the president, immediate, past, coordinators, every member that you have invited me to speak about it on the very, very first day. And I'm pretty sure that today's the first talk is going to be great enlightenment to all of you. With this, thank you so much and great time ahead to all the members. Dhanyavad.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I'll introduce you to the speaker of the day, Ms. Jyoti Siddan-Gowda. Pardon me, ma'am, if I have not pronounced your name properly. I'll just share her introduction to you. Yeah, Ms. Jyoti Siddan-Gowda is MSc in Physical Anthropology from Dharwad and has done B.Ed from Mumbai University. She has a teaching experience of more than 2 decades, which makes her an adept and proficient academician. She heads the science department in Lokmanya Tilak International School in Navi Mumbai. Apart from teaching biology, she plays the role of academic coordinator at LTIS. Recently, she was selected as council member for Women Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, WICCI. She is responsible for conducting various exams like Olympiads, Spell B, Homi Baba, NSJES, MSCE, MAT, etc. With the intention of providing healthy competitive platforms for developing minds, she regularly conducts and organizes numerous intra and inter-school science exhibitions. She has won general championships in sports during her school days and college days, and so she firmly believes in promoting a balanced and stimulating environment for the students. During her non-teaching hours, she ensures guiding students in various other aspects that add value to their life and encourage them to hone their skills in drawing, painting, handicrafts, and sports. We welcome you, ma'am, and you can start the talk.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. Let me start my webinar by first offering my humble pranams at the lotus feet of Swami. And I would first congratulate Lalita ma'am for taking this initiative of WIPNET Club. And I'm really glad you will reach success very soon. And I would also like to thank Dr. Ranade, who has highlighted about the WIPNET program. So ma'am, we are always with you. I will try my best. Whatever I could do from my end, I will definitely help you out. Whenever you call me, I'm there for you. So thank you, Lalita ma'am. I'll start my webinar, and in this webinar, it's like the workshop which I'm going to take is all about the 50 effective methods of teaching science. So it may happen that not all the methods, they are not only for the science subject, but the teachers, those are from the other field also can definitely make use of these methods. And I'm sure you will enjoy this because it's a combination of so many activities come the different methodologies which we can use. It's not the old teaching methodology which we are going to use. Just give me a minute, I'll share my screen.
1 minute, ma'am. I think I'll have to give you permission.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can try now.
Okay, ma'am. Are you able to see my screen,
Yes,
ma'am?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, all of you welcome to Science Vista. Now, as given by Jean-Jacques Rousseau, we should not teach children the science, but give them the taste for it. So here one diagram, the picture which is depicting in the circle, it is here I'm showing a pot. Now the meaning of this, why I'm showing the pot here, and there is another one glass, again the water has been poured in the glass. So here I would like to say that teachers are having many qualities, but when we are making complete use of the qualities, it really works out wonders in the life of the children. Now, as we have to draw the water from the well, the pot has to bend in the water. Then only the water will make an entry inside the pot. That is true. So in that way, the teachers also need to find many resources from where they can collect the resources, how they can make their teaching effective. So that is the way we have to bend first to draw the resources. And then when we had to present it in front of children, just like in the picture, you can see that the pot is again bending down. Then only the water will come down in the glass. So similarly, the teachers also have to come down to the level of the children. All the children are very unique and they have their own capacities to understand the concepts. So it is the teacher's duty that they need to come down to the level. So teacher has to bend. She should not be arrogant about her qualities, or she should not have that ego. Once these two qualities, that is ego, arrogancy, all these are left, she is the best teacher always. And that is how she can reach to the children very quickly. Moving to the next slide. This slide, I hope everybody knows the cone given by Edgar Dale. Now here, it is always said that 10% of whatever we read is retained by our brain. 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we see and hear, 70% of what we say, 90% of what we say and do. So if you look at the last two categories, that is 70% and 90%, these are called as active phase, whereas the earlier ones are all passive. There we are just hearing, reading and all. But when we do something, when we are trying to participate in the discussion, or we try to give a talk or do a presentation, actually it gets registered in our brain very fast. And even same thing happens with the children also. Now let me start with the first methodology. Now that is called as experiential learning. Now as CBSE is focusing more on experiential learning, like whatever we are trying to teach them, the scientific concepts, let it be done by some action or let them perform it. So when they are doing it, it actually helps very much. Like here I have taken an example of the string telephone to teach about sound and communication. Now here it is very simple. These are available in everybody's house, like small two bowls we have to take, plastic bowls, then mastic we are using, and a string. And we have to connect it in such a manner, one child is holding it to the ears and one is speaking. So this we used to play with the help of the matchbox when we were small. Now here when teacher is teaching this concept, she is teaching them that time, distance, velocity, and how it can be like formulas, everything can be introduced. Same thing can be done with by using just a simple flying aeroplane, where children are making that rockets or aeroplane with the paper and they're flying it. So let them fly it, and from that concept you can make understand how much time did it take for that plane to land down, and what was the time duration used, how we can calculate it. So these are the concepts which can be put up very easily. And in the same thing, like experiential learning only, last year, I mean, when the pandemic started, so this we had conducted for our children for grade 9th. Like we had taken the topic as COVID-19 pandemic, which was integrated with 12 subjects. So when the child is learning this, it's only not about the bio, but it's about the different subjects like geography, which all areas got affected, and what is the graph. So mathematics is coming in action. Then yoga, how yoga will help to come out from the COVID situation if the person is facing COVID, and like social awareness, safety measures. Then chemistry, what are the things involved there? Bio, of course, the virus which is there. So all the subjects, when we are integrating it with that one topic, pandemic, so we can actually give a very good horizon for the children. They can automatically, they can come up with so many ideas. Yes, ma'am, we can use this topic in this subject. So this is what worked out very well when I did it with class 9 students. Then moving on to the next, that is storytelling or facts-based. It is basically who doesn't love to hear the story, especially this works out with the small kids, like from primary classes onwards, we can say that this plays wonder, because here the teacher is trying to teach the concept in the form of a story. So either she can start it with the story or she can end it with the story. So like example, I'm telling here about the life cycle of frog or butterfly, or if she has to talk about the bacteria, algae, anything, or the pathogens which are there, which are creating havoc right now. This is the which we are facing, the pandemic situation. So teachers can really make their topic interesting by just creating a story. That story may not be the true one. It can be just a fantasy, but yes, the main concept is taught to them in the form of story. And now, as we all know, we are forced to be online. So many things are there which can work out very easily online. Now, I would like to question you all. How can we utilize snakes and ladders or Ludo games in our teaching methodology? Anybody can answer. Children, you're also welcome to answer. Yes, children, I want answers.
With small children, it can be addition. I mean, seeing simple things. If you're thinking about that, I've never played Ludo and all with children, but I'm just thinking if that could be the thing, simple additions, moving from your 6 more and 6 down, subtractions.
Yes, ma'am. I'll just show the slide. It will be really, it is really interesting. And wherever I have, experienced the same. And, noise is coming. Okay, now here the display of the snakes and ladders I have put up, and the picture of Ludo, this I'll be showing you also. Now the snakes and ladders, this is like a playway method of learning, where actually in the picture you cannot see the questions clearly, but I have typed the questions and I have pasted all the questions on every alternate boxes most of the time. And then this is basically the revision of body movements. This is for class 6, which I had done. This I had done during the regular school, when the school was working regularly that time. So children really enjoyed, because as it is, they love to play all the time. So the snakes and ladders was wonderful game which they played. And by doing that, they were answering the questions. And the one who was not answering, he was jumping to the next question. And they were really enjoying the game. And when the snake is biting again, they're coming down. So game is also played at the same time. Revision is also done. The same thing I have done this on my, the painting I have done. So I would like to show you if you can pin, you will be able to see. Are you able to see the painting, ma'am? Ludo painting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the same pic I have put up there. Now this also is very interesting. Like as we play Ludo and all, it is just like that only. And the questions have been put up in every box and the child will play. So this is a big cloth which I have used where they can sit and play. And I'm really hoping for the regular physical school to start so that they really enjoy all these games. Yeah. Now, how we can introduce the topic of chemistry like radicals, ions, metals, and non-metals in a playway method? Can anybody tell me? Yes, teachers, anyone?
Ma'am, by using magnets or balls to show the nucleus of the atom.
Oh, very good. Very good. What's your name? Amartya.
Yes,
Very,
ma'am.
very good, Amartya. Yes, I have some other method. Whatever you said is also very good. Now here, see, in this methodology, like I have chosen 2 cards of different colors. One is of pink color, one is of white color. And in one, I have written the names of the metals, non-metals and all. And in the other, I have written their formulas, like what is the symbol for them. Everything has been written. Now, what we are supposed to do, we have to form 2 groups. And this is possible not online, but this is possible only in the physical activity in the school. So 2 groups will be formed and each group will be given the cards, like white card will be given to one group, pink card will be given to the other group. And then once we start the game, we have to ask them to match each other, find out the name find out the like sodium. So Na stands for sodium. So we have to ask them to connect themselves, like match the following. So when they are doing this, matching the pairs, they are learning the symbol, they are learning the names also. So this is how it helps a lot. So we can say that these are called as science text cards. So this is the method. Then the next method is instructional conversation. Now here, like I have used a diary. I have made a small diary. It is basically to be done by the children. Now children, those who are there on this platform, I would like you to make use of this opportunity. This should be a habit. Like whenever you're reading the science subject, so you're coming across many scientific terms. Maybe all the scientific terms are not known to you. You're reading them for the first time in your syllabus. So what you should do, you should go on writing those words with the meanings in a book. You have to maintain a small diary, like as I've done here, science vocabulary. So teachers can give this as an activity to the children in their class. So let them do. And this is not only in the related only to particular chapter. We can start right from the beginning. Like when the year starts, academic year starts, we can tell them. So you're in 9th standard, you're in 8th standard, whatever class you belong to. Ask them to make a small diary. Let them jot down all the scientific terms. So by the end of the year, their diary is full. They are going, I mean, they are learning so many new vocabulary. Plus, when they reach to the next level of their class, they remember very well, oh, this meaning I know already because I had jotted it down somewhere. So this is how it really plays very important. Then we have role play. Now, even in the role play, children love to play. It's not only for the languages, subjects and all, even science, we can make it interesting by having a role play. Now here, I've just taken two, three examples like solar system, parts of flower, forming a food chain. Now, a group of children will be there. Each one is representing as a planet. Like one is Jupiter, one is Mercury, one is Mars, and they are saying their dialogues. So when they are communicating with each other in the class, this can be done online also. So that way they are learning the solar system. Similarly, with the parts of flower, any concept can be taken up for this. Now, forming a food chain. Now, food chain, they are learning in class 8, 9, 10th and all. So how usually children do a mistake that plants are eaten by the animals. So plants are the first organisms which are coming in the food chain. But they forget always when they're writing the answers, they forget to write about the plants. This directly start from cow is eaten by tiger or something is eaten by something else. They don't write the first word is actually the producers. So these are small things where we can make, I mean, teach them thoroughly by playing role play. The next methodology is graphic organizers. Now, this is also very interactive and it helps because this is a structured way and it is put up in more organized manner where we are trying to represent the data about that topic. So basically in the graphic organizer, it will always have a central point from which the various branches will be arising and we can depict it with the help of arrows. I'll just show you some examples for the same. Like here, I have taken an example of sources of air pollution. So if I have to find out the answer for this, I'm just jotting down in the form of words and that has been put up here in this manner where you can draw the circles and then we can write what are the different sources like forest fires, burning of waste, aeroplanes, firecrackers, whatever comes to the mind, you can put it in this manner. So when we are doing in this manner for even children, whenever you are learning any concept, you can utilize this methodology. This is really helpful when you put it up in the graphic manner. Somewhere you will remember the answer properly. So when you're writing in the exam, automatically you will write the whole sentences. There you cannot put up in this manner, but you have to write in the whole sentences the answer. Then next we have the visual clues. Now in the visual clues, as I said that whenever we see something, that is remaining in our mind very well. I'll be showing towards the end also so many other things. But here, let us first focus on this. Like the drawings, diagrams, or any examples if you want to show. Yes, now because we are online, we are trying to show them videos, we are trying to show them pictures and all. So excretory system, charts of body parts, flowers, cell division. Here one example I am having. See, this is the stages of cell division. Now when you look at this is so creative, so innovative, that these are the stages which the child is learning in 11th standard. In 10th standard, they are just having mitosis and meiosis, but they don't have all the stages which are there further. That is for 11th standard. So if we have to teach this concept, and I'm sure these children will love, because they always make mistake in this. Which stage comes first? So how to make them learn all these things? So here in the form of the hairstyle, I think everybody must have got this. Looking at the hairstyle, it is showing the metaphase, anaphase, interphase, telophase, and all. So this is how we can show them. Any visual clues will work out very well. Then we have the next method, word games. Now, as we know, children love to play. So there are so many games which can be played. Hangman, Pictionary, Dingbats, Bingo, Scrabble, Odd One Out, Dumb Charades, as we play that one. So many common games are there. But when we are playing these games, like for example, if I take Scrabble, so the child has to form the words over there. So let him form the scientific words. So when he is forming those scientific words in that Scrabble, he is learning them automatically. So this is also a very good game where children will love to play. And other Pictionary, like they can stick the picture of that particular whatever new term they are learning. If herbivores they are learning, they can stick the pictures of the herbivorous animals there, and they can write that term. So that is also the game they can play. Then next is word parts. Now all the children are not having the same capacity. I understand this, but we can make it more easy for them. Like if the word metamorphosis, photosynthesis has to be taught to them. So how it can be done? We have to break that long word, but looking at the word only, the child gets confused. What is the word? How can I learn such a big spelling and all? So we can make it very easy by breaking it into parts. Like meta means large, morph means change, osis means process. We have to explain them the broken parts. And like this, the child will learn the scientific term quickly. So this is where they are reinforcing the structure of the words can be done by adding the prefix and suffix. And it has to have some meaning also. So this is the method. Yeah. Now, what do you feel that social media is a boon or curse?
Both.
Both, right?
Both.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, please justify your statement.
Ma'am, it depends on the usage for what you use.
Very good. Very good, Amartya. And why is it a curse?
Ma'am, because there is a great chance of addiction to the social medias.
Very good, very good. And no, children, since you are also there on the platform.
But then we move towards social media and we start surfing, and most of the time is wasted.
Very good. You are very true, Amartya, that most of them, and I think sincerely you will also agree with this, that you are most of the time on the mobile. Not only you, I'm talking about my children also. It's not only about you. All over the world now the same scenario has been seen, that everybody is online. Now school, we are really missing the school. We are also missing the students in the classroom. You are missing the teachers in the classroom. Same thing is with us also. And when we are getting addicted to this, we are really finding so many health issues also. So we should be matured enough or understand the things that we have to restrict ourselves from all these things. How much we want to use, that much only we have to use for the school and all. Rest all time you can enjoy playing and doing something else. But now here, why I have put up in this my methodology, because like the social media can be put up wisely. Now how we can put it wisely? So that you as a student, you can follow the scientist instead of following the hero, heroine and all. We can follow the scientist, right? हीरो हीरो से कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला है. They are doing their duty, they are playing, they are enjoying, they're dancing and all. But when we are looking at the scientists and all, now we are having this platform is full of scientists here. So they are doing wonders. They are actually doing so much efforts they are taking to reach to one conclusion. So we can follow them on the social media. There are so many sites which are available like that. Then Pinterest is one site where you can look out for very much creativity. Like you have to do something, you can come up with so many ideas. You will find as many ideas in science in this channel. That is a Pinterest site is really good. Even I make use of this. So this is how we can make use of social media in a right channel. Then moving to the next is virtual science lab, that is OLab. Now, as we all are forced to be online, so we don't have any other option. We have to conduct the experiments online. I know when the children are touching the objects, when they're performing themselves, 100% that concept is thorough for them. Maybe they are not good in theory, but when they're performing the practicals, it is actually working out. But now we are online, so this is one of the option which we can go ahead with, like virtual OLabs, where the experiments have been shown properly, and also all the dissection in the biology, everything is done very nicely in that. I mean, whenever you, and it is available on YouTube and on site, wherever you visit, all the chapter experiments have been shown in this on virtual OLabs. Then next comes the science kit. Now see, whenever we are having any birthday party or and all, we present our friends with something or the other. So this is a good idea that we can present them with science kit. I'll just show you one, like this science kit I'm having, where so many experiments, and this comes class wise also. So many are there, experiments, and the whole equipment comes along with the all the equipments which are required to perform that practical or perform that activity. So you can look out for such science kits which is available in the market, and you can engage yourself during your free time, like lens, mirror, projector making. This will automatically help even in the science exhibition also. Then moving to the next, word walls. Now, this particular concept or the methodology is very important when it is, I mean, this will work fruitfully when the schools are working normally, like as we were doing before. So here the teacher can teach them, and she has to make them to do all these creative cards in which the words are written. This is related to science. This can be utilized in any other subject also. Every child is writing the name of that scientific term and he's pasting it on the wall. So a wall has to be created on the in the classroom. This is possible in the classroom. Even if children want to do it at home, they are almost welcome for doing all these things. So like here we are having two types, static word wall, where the organization, what we are trying to show is in alphabetical order. And here that each letter, whatever is placed, that is random words, but it is, the words are different, but it is going with the first word is the same. Like as an example, A, aeroplane, then ambulance, art, angel, always any words can be put up there. So one is this type of wall when we are creating, it is called a static wall. And this is word wall. That is the same. See here, if you look into this picture, all are starting with the same letters. Then the other one is interactive wall. Now here we are trying to put up the vocabulary on the wall only, but it is again in the form of graphic organizer as we saw before. And here they are trying, I mean, when we are using this method, they will learn the concept quickly and the information will be gathered very easily. Like visuals can be used, graphics can be used, real objects can be used for presenting that particular word. Like here, this is the example. Now, if you look at this example, here, the mixture is written, solutions are written. Then about the mixtures, the actual mixtures have been collected in that pouch, and that pouch has been stuck on the wall. So when we are doing such type of word wall, so interactive wall, sorry. So this is actually helping that how the mixtures can be separated. Is there any method? What is solution? What is solute, solvent? Always these three words are very much confusing for the children. What is solute, what is solvent, what is solution? Always they get jumbled up writing the definitions. So when we try to put up in this format, it is really helpful for them. Children can also do, and this can be given as an activity in the actual classroom. Then moving on to, this is again the science word wall, another example. Now this is all related only and only to the science. It is all random. The words are all random. They have been picked up and they have been pasted on the wall. So this is called a science word wall. Then we have thinking maps. Now why thinking maps? See, we always see the maps which we are doing in the social studies for locating certain areas or plants or something like that. But we can make use, there are so many different types of maps which are really helping us to understand the concept quickly. Like here, I'll be showing few examples further. Bridge maps are there to teach the relation between the ideas. Brace maps are there to break larger objects into smaller parts. Flow maps are there to show the sequence of the events, and multi-flow maps are there to show effects or causes of an event, and tree maps are there to classify the objects or ideas, and many more. So here a few examples I have. See, the 8 types of maps. First, let us understand 8 types. Circle map is there, which is used for defining content. Then bubble map, describing the adjectives. Flow map, sequencing and ordering events. Brace map, identifying the part or whole relationships. Tree map, classification. Double bubble map, comparing and contrasting. Multi-flow map, analyzing causes and effects. Bridge map, illustrating analogies. The same thing I have put up, I have made use of all these maps. You can have a look at this picture which I am displaying here. These are the different types of maps which I have already implemented in class 10th. Like in human respiratory system they are learning. So I have made use of the brace map. So it is depicting the system, what are the different parts, major organs, and what is the function. So that has been shown. In the other map, I have shown about the bubble map, that is the excretory system, how each organ is playing its role. That has been depicted in the form of bubbles. And then we have circle map. Now I have taken example of birthday party here. So that is the main concept. So when I'm having a birthday party, what are the different things which are required for birthday party? That has been listed in the form of circle. So when we put up in this manner, this is called as circle map. And similarly, the other one, bridge map, here I have taken an example of Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man. See, it is up to your creativity, how you want to display it or how you want to make use of the concept. So Superman is always depicted with the word flight. Same as Batman for technology, Spider-Man for web designing. So these are the things, these are their powers. These are basically, they are good at. So this is how we can put up the concepts in the form of maps. And this is double bubble map. Like here, I have taken an example of marine animals and ocean fish. So whatever is common to them, common to both ocean fish and marine animals, that has been put up in the center. If you can see where the circles are overlapping, you can see these are the common things that they are both are, yes, ocean habitat, both of them live in group and both are vertebrates that way. And but something which is different in both the things that has been put up in that big circles. As you can see, viviparous, respires with lungs, produce milk, and this side lives in school, oviparous, respires with gills, like this. So we can make use of double bubble map in any concept where we have to compare two things and contrast also is there. Then this is the flow map where I have taken an example of reflex arc. Reflex arc in the first case, and the next one is depicting the multi-flow map, that is the circulatory system, where we are having the major things, present heart, main organ, blood vessels are required, blood is there. So what is present inside the blood? Again, it has been put up down. Then blood vessels, arteries, veins, capillaries, heart, what are the 4 chambers? Similarly, we have done for the flow of blood also. How is the blood circulating in our body? Where it goes first in the heart? That is all being put up in this map. So such maps are called as multi-flow map. And the tree map is there. where we are just doing a simple classification of the plant. Here I have taken an example of plant kingdom, like they are classified into 5. So Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperms, Angiosperms. So we can put up any classification, anything in this manner. So when we are depicting in this manner, there are certain names given to these maps. Then moving on to the next is mini anchor charts. Now these are also the charts which are having great, interesting ones. Now many children, you can use any example: plant life cycle, states of matter, mixture, force, motion, anything. Either this chart can be in black and white or it can be the colored one. And sometimes when the children are supposed to be given some activity, we can use the blank ones. I'll just show an example, then you will come to know. Like here I have shown first example is of black and white mini anchor chart. Now here I have taught them the concept of the heart first. And after that, I'm giving this worksheet to them and asking them to fill they label all the parts. So when they're doing this in the class, they really come to know which is the actual part and all. Same thing in the colored format also we can do. So here I have taken an example of control and coordination, that is about the endocrine glands, hormones secreted by them, and the functions played by these hormones. So when the child is doing this in a colorful manner, because some children are remembering the concept by visualizing the things, or some by writing, by doing artwork and all. They're very good at art. They love to do this all, make use of the colored papers and cutouts and all. So they really love. So teachers can give this as an activity also to them. Then we have the next methodology, crossover learning. Now here the students are given the opportunity to learn in multiple settings. Now this is possible when we will be again open back to regular schools and all. So instead of the regular classroom, the children can be taken to garden, museum, field trips, clubs and all, where they can actually learn by looking at the things and feeling in the surrounding. So this is how they can record the things, and they can recall and they can share it. They will remember, oh, I had been to that place and there I have seen all these things. So these are all the informal settings, but children are learning from all these informal settings also. Then moving next to is argue with science or debate. As we all know, all the scientists on the platform will definitely agree with this, that we always have to provide an evidence. We have to provide an proof. Science doesn't go without proof at all. So arguments can be done. We can take any concept where the child can argue, because there they are thinking process is increasing a lot. Their analytical skills are increasing, and they will come up with many ideas, many things, and they will share. So this can be done. Like if I take an example here, we can have a debate on biodegradable, on plastic only on plastic. So there would be 10 people, those who will be against the plastic, and 10 people who are for the plastic. So by doing all these things, when we are arguing, yes, children are learning, their confidence is increasing. Then next, before I go to the next methodology, how can we use waste colored papers as a teaching technique?
Madam, we can
Ma'am,
make
we
the
can use
pH
by
grade.
recycling it.
Okay, we can use by recycling it. Amartya and Parth.
We can make the table of pH grade so that they can understand what is the pH of each material.
Lovely, lovely, Amartya. You are coming from which school, beta?
Ma'am, New Horizon Public School.
Wow. And which class?
Ma'am, 8th A.
Very good, Amartya. Your thoughts are almost matching. Very good. I have one more. Very good. All children, you should be active as Amartya is.
Then we can make art and craft with the papers.
Very good, very good. Arnav, very good. Yes. Now here, like I have given an example of lap book. You might have seen it. I don't know. I'll be just showing you that also. It is also called as layer book, flap book, shutter book. Now, what is done exactly in this? We can make use of the waste papers. I'm not asking you to take the or purchase some colored papers for the same. See, we are always purchasing a rim of the colored papers for this and that artwork and all. So whatever is remaining, small bits of papers are remaining, don't throw them off. Put it in one bag and keep it aside so that we can utilize that in a very constructive manner. Like we can present it in the form of diagram, illustration. I'll just show you one example, what I have done for my subject. Actually, I teach biology. So I have done for my subject. So it can be done for physics, chemistry also. See this. Now here the children have done this in this manner. I have one example to show. Recently, I have done this. So beautifully this girl has done whatever I'm showing on the camera. Yeah, you can see this. I'll just open up. So the child has done in very beautiful manner. The same thing has been presented by her and in very creative manner. So like this, we can prepare the lab book for any subject. And what we are doing inside that, we are writing. Now here I have taken about the cell theory, about the cell organelles, what are present. So what are the major cells, plant cells, animal cells, what are the organelles present in them, and what is the function of them? Everything can be written internally. So it is just like preparing small greeting cards, okay, and pasting them. So this is very interesting method where you people will learn very quickly. The next methodology is context-based learning. Now here the students are given the opportunity to create the context and explore their ideas. Now they can have a conversation with subject experts and they can take out the notes when they have a talk with the subject expert, and they can utilize that. So by doing this, they're actually exploring the world around and they're coming up with new information always. So this is context-based learning. These are the steps actually. The exploration of the context, development of capabilities, inquiry, then taking action. So whenever children, when you are doing any project, you have to first explore. You should know what I am trying to do. And then you have to develop your whatever qualities or whatever you know about that, you have knowledge, you can put it in a proper manner. You have to inquire by asking questions. That is the first thing the children should have, the quality that they should ask the questions to teachers if they don't understand anything. Then finally, the action will be taken up, I mean about the project, and this is how we can proceed further. Then we have the next one is computational thinking, the key concepts. Here there are 4 things. One is decomposition, pattern recognition, abstraction, algorithm. I'll give an example here. Now here it is involving the problem, like I'm taking an example of baking a cake. Okay. Now, first step is decomposition. So here it is like break the problem into smaller chunks. Now, how we can do this? For example, for baking a cake, whatever I need, what are the ingredients, what are the components required for baking a cake, that all thoughts should come first to my mind. So frosting is required, decorations are required, and the components, ingredients are required. Now, when I go to the second step, it is pattern recognition. So we have to find out what are the similarities or patterns which can help to solve the problem. Like in cake, we can have many repeating layers of the cake. So a pattern can be followed. There are so many designs nowadays. We are having n number of creative ideas to bake a cake, and the decorations are wonderful. Then the next step in the same is abstraction. Abstraction means we have to remove all the unnecessary details which is not required in that particular solving the problem. We don't want that. So we have to just remove it off. So when we are baking the cake, whatever ingredients are required, we have to make only use of that. Rest all has to be discarded. Then formatting a general solution. Once the problem is broken down, we have to take those pieces, solve them individually and put them together logically. So when we are baking the cake, here the steps to make the cake batter, frosting, decorations, then completely after doing the baking the cake, how we can give a finishing touch to that and all. So this is how we have to follow 4 steps while solving the problem. So that type is called as computational thinking. Then we have next is mnemonics. Now, again, there are so many things which you will find difficult to remember. So easy and shortcut method, but this will work out in certain cases, not in all the chapters. Let me tell you first only, otherwise you will start doing in everything. Wherever required, wherever, like here example I have taken of class 9th diversity chapter, where they are learning kingdom, phylum, division, class, order, family, genus, species. So in short, we can use the first letter KPC of GS. For P, that is phylum for animals, division for plants. So KP/D, C of GS, we can write like that. Or else we can reverse the order like Saurabh Ganguly's family ordered chawal, paneer and kebab. Now don't write this sentence in the exam. You have to write actually the order, the species, genus, family and all. So same thing can be done even in the solar system. My very efficient mother just served us noodles. And just before that, I showed you about the cell division, PMAT or PMAT, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. So mnemonics are also very helpful and easy method to learn the concept. Then we have Science Museum. I hope everybody must have visited museum sometime or the other. And this is actually a learning process where we are coming up with so many resources which are displayed in the museum. We look at the work done by the scientists, and that is helping us to learn many more things. Here I have taken the best example which I have myself have experienced with my children. We had been to IVSA, and thanks to Lalita ma'am, Vijaya ma'am and all, where they had, they gave us the opportunity to come, and we were there for the whole day in IVSA, where the Science on Wheels, that was in the month of Jan, I guess, or Feb. So it was displayed, and people from Nehru Center had also come. Children were there who were displaying their experiments, and my school children, they enjoyed thoroughly. They enjoyed thoroughly in IVSA, and they had made a report writing on the visit to IVSA. And this was a wonderful experience for us as a teacher as well as for our students. Thank you, Lalita ma'am, for that. Then next we are having the projects, like projects, as the teachers are giving projects for any subject. I'm talking about not only for science, any this one. What are the first steps that you have to keep in your mind? First is we have to choose the idea, what I want to do. And after that, you're going to build a plan. How you're trying to plan out how I should do this project. Maybe you will be getting some rough ideas initially, and when you do some research work, you will come up with fair ideas. Executing the plan and then evaluating it. So these are some steps which need to be followed. So whenever you're doing any project, you will definitely do mistakes also, and then you will improve. You will automatically improve by overcoming all these challenges. It has, see, at the first time only, the experiment will never work. You have to do 2-3 times. Yes, then only you're successful. Even the scientists, they will always do many 100 times. They do the same experiment and then they come up with some conclusion. And when any project is done, it can be done individually or group wise. So whenever they're doing in groups, the teamwork and the self-assessment is done automatically. You yourself know that where do I stand, how much I know, how much knowledge I have to still gain. See, these are all things what you learn when you're doing any projects. Then multimedia approach is there, where I hope all children are very much tech savvy, so they know how to make use of multimedia like audio, animation, video. Everything can be put together and your project is ready. So this is where we can make use of multimedia in a constructive manner. So this is also very meaningful experience which we come across. And as a teacher, even I am learning so many features which are there in the mobile or on the laptop. We just know only few features. But because of online, thanks to online now, because we have learned so many new technologies, how we can make use of all these things in our teaching. Then we have ICT enabled learning. Now here it is related to information and communication and the scientific ideas, which is promoting for open source learning. So here we are to make the accessing, storing, transmitting, manipulation of the information, how we can make use of the technology how we can gather the data, and how we can create a database, or how to store the data, how to transmit it, how to communicate it to others. Everything is done. We learn different softwares. We come across various names of the softwares, then storage, middleware is also name of a software, audio visual systems. All these things we are learning through ICT. So this is one methodology which teachers can use. Then video clips. Yes, I'm sure every teacher now, they are using the videos, these videos about the chapter, the instructional videos and all, where they are making the children very comfortable in learning these all the concepts. Whenever a video is shown, it plays like especially in nursery, pre-primary classes, not only nursery, pre-primary classes, we can really see that children are enjoying looking at that cartoons or the animations, whatever has been depicted in that concept. At the same time, they're learning the concept also. Now, for the higher grades, we can expect it in a different manner a little bit. Like we can show them the interview with a scientist or any subject expert who is giving a talk. Like this, we can definitely make use of that. Then PowerPoint presentation. Right now, whatever I'm doing is also a PowerPoint presentation, and every teacher is giving this homework compulsory, project work is compulsory, because this is an easy method where the children are also collecting the data and then they're putting up in the slides. They are also giving so many effects to their slides and all. So PowerPoint presentation is also a methodology. Then mini labs or formal laboratories. Now here children, this is possible only in the regular school where we are having hands-on activities inside the classroom only. So small things which can be utilized very quickly is stored in the classroom somewhere. This is not, I'm talking about the big labs and all. A small, this mini labs we call it as. There you can keep like building the circuits or magnets, the mixtures and all that can be shown, or the rocks can be displayed, different types of rocks you're studying. So all these things. So this is mini labs. And this is the actual lab where my children are conducting some, they are doing some experiments. Then comes the science exhibition or the fairs. Now, who doesn't love to display their projects in the exhibition? Why? Now tell me, why do we have these exhibitions?
So that we can showcase our work and means show others, and others can also take inspiration from us.
Yeah, correct. Very good.
Because we can show our different discoveries in an exhibition.
Very good, Aryan. Very good. Yes, it is very true that whenever we are displaying our project, first of all, we have worked on that project to make it properly. And once it is working, we feel very happy, right? And when we're displaying it and when you're talking in front of the crowd, your confidence level is automatically boosted up. Not all children are having this quality of confidence, right? So they will come out of that fear when they participate in science exhibitions and fairs. And that is also motivating you to go for research. If you want to become scientist, if you want to go in the research field and all, definitely this is the first platform where you have to participate in science exhibitions and fairs. It is increasing your critical thinking, analytical skills are increased. You know why, you know the reasoning part of it, everything you know about it. Then comes, see, this is one of the exhibition in which in our school we had conducted. So here the children are displaying their models and all. Then comes the next method, research books. Now here the teacher is using the research books in the classroom rather than the normal textbooks or the lecture notes. She has to go somewhere beyond the textbook also. Always the teacher should not restrict only to those lines which have been given in the textbook. She should always explore some more books where she can give them extra information. Maybe, and yes, it should be some age appropriate information. I'm not saying give the whole thing to them at the same time, because they will not have that much capacity to retain it. So it's age appropriate, we can provide them. And this can be done by them by visiting the libraries, the websites, or having a talk with the experts and all. So research books can be done by the children and they can share it with their classmates also. Then we have next method, documented problem solving. Now here teacher is insisting the student to record their thought process when they're solving a problem. Like, what is your thought about this problem? You have to put it first. And then you have to come up with step by step. Like she is asking you to explain the reason for the same. How did you come to this solution? Now, I think you agree with this. Like whenever you're solving the math sums, right? So you're applying the formula and then you're solving it stepwise. What if I write the answer in the second step itself? Will the
And
teacher
we
give me
will
full
not get
marks? Yes, the teacher will cut my
because
marks.
it is not proper justification.
Right, right. It is not going stepwise. So whenever we solve anything stepwise by inserting the formulas, by inserting the given values and all, so then we come up to that particular answer. If you write direct answer, what the teacher will think, oh, you have copied from somewhere. So how can I give you marks? Or else you have not shown the steps and you're losing your marks. Precious marks are lost when we don't do that. So such type of methodology is called as documented problem solving. Then we have science stations. Now this is possible again in the regular school where it is a very fun and quick where the children are learning about the things. Now science stations, I'll just show you one. Basically there could be multiple stations also, and the learning different styles will be there, like research will be there, explore, watch, read, write, assess and illustrate the science concept. I'll show you one picture of this. It is there further. I'll just show. S for summarize, create, interpret, experiment, navigate, challenge, extend. So these are like, we can make use of these in when we are displaying it in our school station science. See, this is how it looks. This is called as station, science station. So here individually or in the group, the 4 children or single child can also sit and they are performing the experiment. So this is called as science station. So at not necessary it should be a very big one. Here whatever pic I have taken is a big one, but a small stations can be created. Then we have the next, observation stations in open fields. Now here, apart from the textbook, whatever is there, which is limited, but we can do more observation, research. Like if I take an example of life cycle of earthworm I want to study in different climatic conditions, or I want to see that whether the earthworm is able to survive if too much of sunlight is coming, or it has to be kept in the shady region. If we are trying to build a curb for vermicomposting, we are preparing a tank, a cement tank is prepared where the mud is added and we are putting some earthworms in that. But where the construction has to take place, it has to be in some shady part. Why? Because the earthworms cannot survive in the hot climate. They will die. So that is the reason they are under the ground always, right? So even we can have a mini kitchen garden. This is very much seen in IVSA. If children, you have not visited IVSA, you can go there. I have myself experienced this. They have so many different plants and they're directly using those plants. I mean the fruits or whatever is there for their cooking. It's really good. I have seen this. The spinach, tomatoes, chilies, fenugreek grow very quickly. So all these things can be used. So we can call this as observation station in open fields. We can make use of 5-6 stations like that. The next is peer-to-peer teaching. Now, as one parameter of internal assessment in CBSE, they are focusing on peer-to-peer teaching. Now, what is this? It is basically the child is learning the concept on his own and then he is putting it in front of the other classmates, like in the classroom. He becomes a teacher for some time and then he's teaching that concept to others. That is one thing. Another one is you are teaching. If suppose your friend is weak in studies and you are very smart in your studies, so you can help your friend by explaining him the concept. Maybe sometimes it happens that the children are not understanding what the teacher is teaching. Maybe that can happen many a times. Teacher is trying her best to come down to her to the level of the child, but it may happen that she is not successful in that. So in that case, the children can actually help their friends overcoming this problem. Then we have science movies. Now, there are science, not only we always observe this movie, that movie and all, but if you take your children as a parent, as a teacher, if the children are taken to watch such movies like Sunshine, Artificial Intelligence, Interstellar, Mangalyaan and all, so they are learning so many new things, like many things you can see in the picture. So whenever you see something, again, it is registered in your mind. So this is the best way to introduce science to kids rather than spoon feeding them with the textbook content. Then we have science games for kids, like that, whatever I showed, Ludo, then snakes and ladders, that is for the primary level, we can definitely make use of. But when it comes to higher classes, you can, the teachers can make use of such games like memory game, crossword puzzles can be given. Then memory game, like if I had to give this example, invertebrates or vertebrates, when we are talking about this, there are 9 to 10 phylums to be learned in invertebrates, and in vertebrates 5 classes have to be learned. So it's very difficult to remember that all the names, which comes first, which comes second. So how we can play this game, memory game? Children can be like, the first child will be asked to say the first word, Porifera. Then the second one has to say the first name, Porifera, and the second phylum, Coelenterata. The third person has to say the first two and the third one. Like this, it will continue till the 10 phylums. And by the time the last person, he is 100% knowing all the names. And it is very interesting game, because this I have tried out in my class also, where the children are later on in the lunch break and all, they were calling each other with the same names. Hey, Annelida, come here. Hey, Platyhelminthes, come here. So these were the names used by them, because why? That child had said that particular phylum during that class game when we were playing. So this is how the memory game works. The next method, we are having science songs, like so many picture songs and all we are learning. But there are science songs also. If you search on YouTube, or if you search on for some songs, you will definitely come across some of them, like Science is Real, Meet the Elements, Star Song, Motion Song, Newton's Laws of Motion. All the 3 laws have been put up very nicely in the form of song. That is available online. You can search that. Then mobile apps. Now there are so many apps. You all come across so many apps. Geo app is there, that app is there, this app is there for shopping, Amazon is there. So we can do it for the science also. We have so many apps like Human Body, Cosmic, Zoom, Earth Primer, Video Science, Science 360, NASA, Global Observer. Many apps are there. When you download such apps, science apps, which are very popular ones, so you will have the knowledge. If any child is having any interest in pursuing that particular career in his life, so they can observe all these apps where they can come across so much information. Just a minute. Just give me a second. It's okay, it's okay. I'll show from. Yeah, this was the excursion and field trip. This is the picture of IVSA only, where my students had been there, and teachers of IVSA, they really helped out with providing the information, and they thoroughly enjoyed this. This was a field trip which was conducted. And then science clubs. Now in science clubs, this is like, just a second. Science club is very helpful, like for STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So here the children are having hands-on experience. Every school should compulsory have the science clubs. So they are coming, we can find the young children coming up with so many ideas and all. We never know, one would be the scientist among them. So it is like a science club where we are discussing about the new things which are coming up in the technology, and anything which has been discovered or invented by anyone. So we can discuss in the science clubs. Now here I will show you the picture where this is for class 11th. They have done it for edible cell activity had conducted. This was in the science club activity only. So they had done by using all the edible items. You can see the raisins, then kiwi fruits, then coconut is there, everything, whatever they can make use, and they have labeled it. I'll show a few more pictures. See, this is the plant cell, the way they have done it. This is class 11th who has done it. And when they're doing this, they actually know what are the different organelles present. Then coming up to the next methodology, it is the reward discovery. Now, every child would love to be appreciated every time. Not only child, even we as adults also, everybody would love to have appreciation from others. Yes, we have to discover this, that the child, if he's coming up with anything he has performed or he has done very good work, even the homework is completed on time, we have to appreciate the child. That is giving them like it's a booster dose. So like little scientists, small labels we can create and give that labels to them, like junior environmentalist, if he's working out for planting the trees or doing some great effort in that, then we can call him as a little scientist, we can call him as a budding scientist. So such small labels can be given by teachers to their children. The next, we are having interactive science journals. Now, this is not the normal journal I'm talking about. This is interactive journal where it is an advanced version of lecture notes in which students will express their information by putting it up in a different manner. I have given an example here, which I have shown the pic of that, the journal. So here we are trying to connect the information, whatever is there, and then we are depicting it in a proper manner, and this will be called as journal. This can be shared with the students of the different classes also, or of the same class also, and they can make use of the charts, they can comment, and references from where they have picked up the things, information and all can be put up in this. So this is called as interactive science journal. Now, science at home, right? Now we all know that kitchen is the big platform for everyone where we are having n number of things, right? So I would like to show you some experiments here. Just give me 1 second. Now, if I have to see that, starch is present in potato, does everyone know what can be used?
Ma'am, paper can be used.
Paper? How paper?
Ma'am, we had that experiment that crushing the potato in it, and if the paper gets oily, then it has starch.
Oily? Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am, something was like that.
No, something was like
Or we can use iodine required. For the
yes, yes. So see here, I have iodine tincture, which is available in medical shop very easily. You can have this. I have taken a piece of potato. Okay. Now, if you look at this potato, what is the color?
It's yellow mustard.
Creamish. Fine. Now, when I dip this potato in the iodine, I'll just show you. I'm dipping it already. Now, what will happen after some time?
Miss, the color will change into purple.
Blue-black.
Very good. It will become bluish black in color. So this is indicating that starch is present in potato, right? Very good. Now, another experiment where, like many times it happens whenever you're having your food, you're eating the food and some stains are coming, turmeric stains are coming on it, right? And when we try to wash it, what will happen? What will happen?
The color will be red.
Why? Why?
Because
See, I have taken a white cloth here. I have applied turmeric. And now I am applying soap solution on it.
Because it is a base, so when it reacts, it gives out red color.
Soap has fatty acid and NaOH. So NaOH is a strong base.
Okay, my children are really very, very intelligent here. Yes, soap is the base and turmeric is slightly acidic in nature. So what is happening when it is reacting with the soap? What is happening? It is changing its color. So these are the small experiments like which can be done at home very quickly, like iodine test for starch and then turmeric for acid and base. We can learn it very quickly.
Ma'am, even China rose solution.
Yes, right. Then we have the next methodology that is called as flipped classroom. Now in the flipped classroom, here teacher is not teaching anything initially. Okay. Now here the students are asked to go through their videos. Like the instructions are given that they have to watch the videos. 1 second, I'll put it on slide mode. Again it started. 1 minute. I'll do it. Yeah, flipped classroom. Here the students are given all the instructions. They can either watch the tutorials or they can watch the video instructions. That is called as digital learning. And in the second thing, they can go to the classroom where they are coming up with that particular assignment and they're sharing the information through the gathered video assets. And so this flipped learning, this is freeing up the class time of the activities. But if the child is going wrong, whenever he's explaining some concept, teacher has to come in action. She is the one who is going to make them, she can correct them if they are saying something wrong. So first the concept is taught by the children and then later on the teacher will just brush up with the things and all. Then the next is guided discovery problems. Now this works out in grade 11th and 12th a lot. Like this technique can be integrated into the lecture, lab, field courses and all. And it is going step by step through the discovery process and involves collection and processing of data, debugging it and explaining it through interviewing puzzles, hands-on activities and all. So this is very helpful for higher grade students. Then we have a fishbone. Now fishbone, it is a critical thinking. Now this methodology, we can put up our concepts in the form of fishbone diagram where they are learning, there is a root cause which is leading to a problem and it is quantifying the relationship between the effect and cause. This will work out in social studies very nicely. I'll just show you one pic about the same. Here in this picture, which I'll be showing you, it is the head of the fish is representing the change. The ribs show the reason and riblets have the supportive evidence. Now look at this diagram. This is called as fishbone diagram. The result, the head of the fish is showing bad coffee. Now why the coffee was so bad? So those have 4 reasons have been given: people, procedures, material, equipment, right? So these are called as ribs. And again, what was the procedure? No training was given to the person, or too much water was added in the coffee, or too many grounds were there, wrong size filter was used. So whenever this all has led to the bad coffee making, so these are the procedures. The riblets are the smaller ones, ribs are the brown ones, and bad coffee is the result. So what is the reason? What is the cause? What is the effect? This all, you can use this diagram. Children, you can use this diagram in social studies very nicely, especially in history and all. You can make use of this diagram. Then comes next is science quiz. I hope all the teachers are taking up science quiz and they are actually, children come up with their answers. Maybe they are wrong at times, but they learn when they are attending all these quiz. And I request all the children to attempt as many quiz you can. You will have an opportunity. Please participate in science quiz and all. Then coming to the next one is models. That is like the models which are displayed in the exhibitions and all. So whenever we are doing any model and all, we are planning everything properly and then we are displaying it. It can be your still model, it can be your working model also. I'll just show you one working heart model. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay, okay. See, this is the working model which was done by my students and they had won the prize for this. Like these signals, what you are able to see, these signals are coming from the pacemaker. The mouse has been used here and those LED lights have been used to show that signals are passing there. And the pipes have been used to show the deoxygenated blood and oxygenated blood. There are two bottles which are kept behind the heart, which when we press those bottles, this blood is flowing in that. So that is the working model. And they had won a prize for this. And then comes last is the seminar. Now the last methodology is seminar. Now this is something very big, but yes, it can be started from grade 9th onwards. Basically here the child is presenting his theory or whatever they have learned. They want to, you can give any topic to them and they have to talk, they have to do research about it and they have to present in front of the crowd. So this will automatically boost up their confidence level and this will give a training to them whenever they are going to give any interview for their job, career and all. That will really help. So here I have ended my all 50 methods, but I have certain things to show you. Like we can have low budget teaching aids. This is for teachers. Like we can make use of the teaching aids. I'll be just showing you a few on my slides. Like best out of waste we can use. So the first one I have made is using the waste tied packet. A pen holder has been made. Then water cycle, Ziploc bag. I'll be showing that to you right away. Then aluminium wrap, empty rolls, brush stand. And then Kuti catches we can make use to show the layers of the earth. Then 5 kingdom classification. Then Christmas tree for showing various rocks and minerals. Herbarium, DNA model, satellite. I'll just show in the slides. First, I'll show in the slides and then there are certain things to show. See, the first picture has been done by my student. Animal cell has been done by using clay. Different colored clays has been used. In the second picture, it is about the 5 kingdom classification where colored papers have been used and all the features of the kingdoms has been written. Then Kuti catches. I hope you all remember when you used to make that small paper, you can put it in your fingers and just do like this. So that is called as Kuti catcher. Then I have the DNA model, which has been very simple. See, these are all simple things which can be used. These are the earbuds which I have used. I have painted it on both the ends with different colors and different color paper I have used, like green, yellow. Why I have used different colored papers? Anybody can tell me?
Mom, because the nitrogen bases are different.
Very good, Swar. It is the nitrogen bases. There are 4 different, right? So adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine. So when we are depicting this as a DNA model, they are not present equally. So I mean, alternate it is going, right? So that way I have displayed it in the form of the colored paper using them. Then the excretory system, this is the chart which has been made. This is the model like where the cardboard has been used. And then herbarium I'm having to show. So this is the, can you see? I'm displaying my herbarium book where the dry leaves have been put up and the children are supposed to write the scientific name and the local name of that particular leaf. So by doing this, this is an activity which can be given to any level of the children by the teachers. Then next is like this first picture, what you're able to see, that is the monuments of India. Like you have to roll that upper pencil. First of all, you have to attach. This is the mobile cover which has been used. This is waste only, the box of the mobile, and it has been covered by chart paper. and all the pics of the monuments has been attached like a strip, and that has been rolled in one of the pencil internally. And then when you start displaying, you have to keep on rolling the upper pencil. Then what will happen? You will continuously go on. I mean, you will find the different monuments at the same time. Then the next picture is displaying about the different atmospheric layers. So this is also very simple, which can be done by children. And the water cycle, like a Ziploc bag can be used like this, and water can be added. You have to paint it with the help of, I mean, by using sketch pen or permanent marker. You can write all the events which are happening in the water cycle. And this is how you can teach the primary students, especially the primary students. They learn all this quickly. And then I have shown another Christmas tree. This is also for the lower classes, where the different types of rocks names have been written, and they can do it in the form of Christmas tree. And the other one, that is the Green Warriors, like a small booklet, that zigzag booklet was prepared by children, and there the name of the warrior, picture of the warrior has been done, and what work has been done by them, that has been put up in that. Now this is the still model. A still model of the satellite was made. Now this is again all the waste materials have been used. The shuttlecock was not working, so it has been taken into action here. Then the straws have been used, the paper, the plastic. These are all the disposable boxes which are available in everybody's home. You can make use of that. And the lids of some bottles can be used for preparing the satellite. Now, this is all from my end. I would like to show you an experiment in sense, this one. Can you all see? I'll stop my share screen. Can you all see this model?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah, so this is basically for identifying the earthquake. Okay, earthquake alarm. Now here the circuit, the battery has been used, a switch has been placed, battery, switch, a metal wire has been used, a ring has been made here. Now when I turn this on, I'm just turning it on. Now whenever this touches the ring, then the sound is heard. Can you hear the sound?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is like, yeah. So whenever the actual earthquake takes place, and when we place something, the shaking of this will take place. So that is called as earthquake alarm. Now, one more is there, like you might have you heard about electroplating?
Yes, ma'am. We have the topic this year.
You have this topic? Okay. So what is electroplating?
What is the plating of
Ma'am, it
metal
is
on
when
a corrosive metal?
deposit
Very
on
good.
other paper using the current.
Yes, yes. Now see, I'm taking a beaker with water and I'm adding copper sulfate powder to it. I'll just show stepwise. I'm stirring the solution which is having copper sulfate. You can see this.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Turning blue.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm taking a battery. These are the connections for anode and cathode. And this is like the copper small, you can see copper,
Plate and nail.
and a nail is there. Yes. Now I'm attaching this battery to it. I'm connecting, and now I will dip this particular nail and that in the water containing copper sulfate, and let us wait for some minutes. Just few seconds. Can you tell me what will happen?
Ma'am, the copper will be settled
The
like a
copper
plate.
Ma'am, the copper metal will get deposited on the nail.
Yes, you can see that happening. Just a second. Yeah, I'll show you the nail now. Now look at the color of the nail at the tip. It has
Yes,
turned
ma'am,
black.
it has changed black.
It has turned down black.
Yeah. So this method, electroplating, silver plating, chromium plating, many things we can make use. So this is a simple experiment where we are using to prevent the rusting. Okay, the corrosion should not take place. So one metal is displacing on the other. It is forming a coating. Now another experiment, small experiment. This is the last experiment. We have to take water in a glass. And few raisins. I hope everybody knows raisins, manuka.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm adding a few raisins in a glass of water and I will allow it to settle for some time. What will happen? Can anybody tell
Raisin
me?
will swell, ma'am.
Why it will
Because of
swell? Yes. Now here,
osmosis.
yes, here already whatever I showed that I have already kept it aside. This I had kept it some time before, so they have already swollen. The raisins have swollen. Now, what is the principle behind this?
Osmosis.
Very good, Swar. You're in which class, beta? Huh?
Ma'am, in 8th class.
Okay, 8. You're having this concept? So osmosis means what? It is basically the movement of the molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So these raisins are getting swollen up and that is called as end osmosis because the water is entering inside, correct? And the cell is swelling up because the concentration inside the cell is low and the concentration outside the cell is more. So it is moving from higher concentration to lower concentration. And that is why the cell is swelling up. Is that clear? And there is always a confusion between diffusion and osmosis. Can you tell me the difference between diffusion and osmosis?
Ma'am, osmosis is only for water, but diffusion can be of any substance, like any protein.
Yes, that is true that it takes place in all the three mediums, diffusion, whereas osmosis takes place only in the liquid medium. But one more important property you have to remember that there is a semi-permeable membrane present for osmosis, which is not in the diffusion. Okay? Understood? I hope you all enjoyed the session. Lalita ma'am, Sheila ma'am, I have done with my workshop.
Oh, wonderful, Jyoti. I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
and
thank you so much.
We have lots of it to learn from these methodologies which you have adopted out of these 50. It's really interesting. I think at IUSA Labs now we will start using them one by one. Yes. And we would really love to have you more with us in our WIPNet activities.
Yes, ma'am, I'm there always. Don't worry, I'm there.
And you please become a member of IUSA. That is the most important.
Okay.
Yeah. So that.
And I was very happy with these children. They were so actively participating.
You know, the problem here is with us, we don't have this. If you see this, what you're talking about, osmosis and electroplating comes in the SSC much later.
Okay.
So I think they were a little bit confused, but children, you all are just good. Okay.
Yes,
Stay there. We will learn it today or tomorrow. We will learn it. It's there for us. Okay. But look at them so confidently answering. And I want you to get that confidence too.
Yes, ma'am. Especially Amartya was too good.
Yeah.
All children were answering very nicely.
Fantastic. Very nice. Yeah. Maybe Suparna, whether we can, everyone can switch on their videos and we will have one photograph together. That will be nice, you know, as a conclusion of today's this thing. Yeah, that will be really nice. Suparna, you will be able to do that.
Yes, ma'am. Madhu ma'am, you will help us, no?
Yes, I've taken Lalita.
Okay.
Wow.
But all of them were not on, I think, videos. And now
So
they
there
are.
are
they are-
three windows.
Okay.
Lovely session.
Lovely, lovely. Really enjoyed, and we learned also quite
And
a lot.
very informative.
Very informative.
And but some of them I have noted down, but not all. But it
Yeah.
was very nice.
Maitri madam, we have to put all these thoughts even for the senior kids.
Yeah, I know. Even for the college students also.
Yeah.
Excellent. They're very good mapping systems also.
I know.
Very good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Lalita ma'am, this is the
Yes.
second time I attended her session.
Yeah, I know. You gave the recommendation, and I know Jyoti very well, so I directly approached her, and she was very gracious to say, yes, I will take up the lesson. You know, I mean the session without any hesitation. That was the best part.
Ma'am, I'm thankful to you for giving me this platform and
Yeah.
opportunity actually.
Thank you. And I think now, Suparna, we should have an introduction of all our VIPNet members, all the children who have become members of New Horizon, as well as St. Mary's, whoever, and the teachers. I can see some of them. Maybe one by one, you can just introduce yourself.
Yeah, I think we'll have the teacher only introduce them. We have Sheila ma'am from St. Mary's, Mazgaon. Ma'am, can you please introduce the students from your school?
I have them there. Children, one by one, just introduce yourself. Aryan Mukta, come on. Yeah.
Hello, Miss. Hello, teachers. I am Aryan Mukta from St. Mary's High School. SSC.
Yeah, Mohsin, come on, Mohsin.
Hello teachers, my name is Mohsin Khan and I study in standard 8 in St. Mary's High School, SSC.
Yeah, and Salif Ansari.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Salif Ubaid Ansari. I study in standard 8.
And Faiz Khan. Faiz, come on, son.
Good morning, Miss. My name is Faiz Khan. I study in 8th from St. Mary's High School.
Okay, Nayan, come on, son. Your chance now.
Hi, good morning. I am Master Nayan Nilesh Manzokar. I am from 8B and I am from St. Mary's High School.
Parth Lad, about you. Come on, introduce yourself, Parth. Unmute.
So Bachara needs to introduce.
Parth is another class. Okay, Parth Lad is from another school. Okay, Parth. Sorry, yeah. Jai Umrigar. Jai, come on. When Parth waits, Jai, come on.
St. Mary's Majra.
Mary's. I